Flex United Stan, if you don't know who I'm with James Cooper. He's like you're like the chief correspondent for Man United on Sky Sports, aren't you?
Yeah, I do a lot with United, a lot with City. Yeah.
Oh, City.
Well, Manchester's a big place, big enough to have two big clubs. But yeah, the Reds think I'm a blue, the Blues think I'm a red. I'm actually an Ipswich Town fan for my sins, so my curse is I get to see some amazing football matches and don't care like it was Ipswich. So that's the cross I have to bear. But one of my sons is a United fan, so you know.
That's where you get it from. I mean, you come here, I'm guessing obviously you're here to commemorate, that iconic moment in 1958. We sit here on the airfield where it all took place. I mean, what's your thoughts of being here and seeing this?
It feels like a special place. I mean, you said it yourself, there seems to be a sort of feeling it feels eerie. It helps it's cold, I guess, a little bit, and there's snow here like there was back in 1958 without getting too kind of macabre. But I think it's such a big event. 10 years ago when United did the 50th, there were still a lot of people who were alive, who had talked about it. Now there's only two left, Harry Gregg and Sir Bobby Charlton, and I think a lot of people are coming to Germany, 2,000 fans, I think, and a lot of those will think, well, this is the last time for a major anniversary that I'll be here. And I think, it's one of those things that resonates throughout, not just football. Everyone knows what the Busby Babes was or who they were and what this kind of meant to not only Manchester and football, but also to kind of life in our country in general, I think.
I mean, to the younger fans and maybe fans of Manchester United that are newly found love and don't know too much about the Busby Babes, what are your thoughts on them? How would you sum them up as an entity, as a team?
Yeah, it's hard because I think everyone kind of points the finger and says, well, you never watched them play, and that's one argument. But you can only go from people who did watch them or did play with them. You talk to Sir Bobby Charlton about playing alongside Duncan Edwards, and just the words and the way he looks, the kind of the glint in his eye, if you like, remembering those great players that he played with, Tommy Taylor, Roger Byrne, all these great names. And I think, they won 2 league titles, so put it into some sort of
they were hunting that third down, weren't
they? Exactly, so to talk to young players, it's a bit like the team that Sir Alex Ferguson built. You won 2 Premier League trophies, and you were going to go and then win maybe the European Cup like they did in '99. That's what they expected this team in 1958.
That's how good they were, isn't it?
They were going to win the European Cup, and then they had to wait 10 years for that then to happen. So I think, you're right. For a lot of people, younger guys, they don't really understand it, but this was a properly special team, and they were young players. This was a team that hadn't kind of reached its potential yet.
You speak about young players. I mean, Sir Matt Busby was iconic and a pioneer really in breaking that mould of, hang on a minute, we're going to do this from youth. We're going to get players straight out of school into Manchester United, and we're going to grow them almost like a gardener waiting for his crop to or a farmer waiting for his crop to harvest. How iconic was Sir Matt Busby and what he did, and what role did he play in shaping what Manchester United is now?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think to use your kind of gardening metaphor, I mean, he sowed the seeds. I think he did something that no one else had done, which was trust young players. And trust is a big word. It's a big word that managers use. You hear Pep talking about trust. You hear Jose talking about trust. And you maybe say some United fans would accuse him of not trusting youngsters enough. Well, Sir Matt did. Now, whether that was by means because Manchester United weren't the big money club that they are now, and they had to kind of cut their cloth accordingly, or whether he actually believed in, which I think he did, in the talent they had. And it proved it right. As I said, they were on the course of winning 3 league titles. They were going to win the European Cup or get very, very close to it. So I think he was right in that. And I think it did set the legacy for Manchester United now, through Sir Alex Ferguson. And up until, I think we're getting somewhere back into it. You see what Ed Woodward said the other day when Jose signed his new contract. He talked about believing in youth. I think that was a little reminder maybe that youth is part of the heritage of Manchester United and don't ignore it.
I mean, that's what I was going to get onto next. I mean, you look at now in the present day, obviously under Sir Alex, the class of 92 was all about bringing through youth, and we all know what a success that was. Obviously, we're in the post-Ferguson era now. How do you see us now in terms of, Jose bringing in the youngsters, or even under Van Gaal and Moyes? Do you think that we're still doing enough to live by that Matt Busby philosophy?
It's really hard, isn't it? I think the one thing that Sir Alex had in common with Sir Matt Busby is that they decided when youth was right. So you had to be good enough. The class of 92 were brilliant. So they earned their place. And I think in many ways a lot of the Babes did too. So, there's a quality argument here. I think United is still trying to find that quality. I think the problem is, with City, again, raising the bar so high. And they're doing it as well. They're buying tried and tested too. They've got some youngsters coming through, but they're not getting much of a game. Brahim Diaz has been playing recently. Phil Foden's injured. And United are kind of the same as well. You have to have Alexis Sanchez because maybe he brings other players in the summer. Can you trust, and I use that word again, can you trust some of the young players? And I think at the moment, Jose shares it with Pep that maybe they can't quite trust them in the big games because you can't afford to take the risk.
And that's where it does come from. On Jose Mourinho, you speak to him most. I mean, you're always at the press conferences giving him some tough questions and pressing him on things. How does he seem to you at the moment? Does he seem happy? I mean, he signed a new contract. There was talks of him living in a hotel room. He doesn't care. We do a lot of fan cams, and a lot of fans have been on his back saying, oh, Jose doesn't care. Yes, it was in a period where we wasn't playing too well. We know football fans can be fickle. But how does he seem to you? What's the mood like around the camp? You're around the players.
I mean, first things first. I mean, if I was offered a hotel room like his, I think I'd quite like it.
Yeah, it's not a Premier Inn, is it?
Talking about a beautiful place, I think, with a grand piano and all those sort of things that you'd expect the trappings of a Manchester United manager. He's changed over the last few weeks. He looks more chirpy. He looks like he's got the glint in his eye. And I think he's realised that the board will back him. I think that's what the Sanchez transfer was all about. It's saying, right, let's bring a big name in, and they've done that. And I think also he's got his new contract. He's got a bit more cash. I think he was looking for that as well. And I think suddenly he's thinking, maybe not this season, because I think you'll be lucky to get a trophy this season. You might get an FA Cup. The Champions League, I think, will be a bridge too far. But I think next season, I think he's thinking, right, I'm going to close this gap on Pep and give him a real battle. I think that's why we've seen him sort of just a bit more animated. I mean, you'll watch the stuff. You hope as a journalist you're asking the questions that fans want to ask. You have to be a bit careful, because otherwise most of the time you get slung out. But yeah, I think he looks as though he's understanding more about what a Manchester United manager is about, and this is a special football club. Things like this make it a special football club. It's not like any other sort of daily football club. This is a special place. Yeah.
James, thank you very much for talking to us, giving us your expertise and taking time.
Cold,
it is absolutely freezing, fitting for here, and like you said, it kind of sets the tone. You look in the background there, and you can see, the frost or the snow on top of the ground. It just seems like, like I said, something really, truly remarkable happened here.
Yeah, I think and this will be very different tomorrow. This will be a very somber place, but with a lot of people. I mean, it's there's no one here at the moment, and it's quite lucky. It's quite special because of that. Tomorrow, there's going to be a real feeling that this is a real commemoration. Right now this is a nice place to have a think about what happened. I think tomorrow will be interesting, and I think a privilege to be here. It's from our point of view, it's telling a tale from a different perspective, a tale that we've told lots of times from Old Trafford and in Manchester and all sorts, but this is nice to come here and actually tell it here. Yeah.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
No problem.
Cheers.